Hello, everyone. This is my week 4 assignment, coding assignment. I did all kinds of good things. I did write the comments down, explaining what I did. I'm going to scroll down and explain everything that I did. For number 1, I created a total of 8 variables. On my screen, it's ages, last index, first element, last element, new age, subtract result, sum, and average. So those were my variables. I also named a variable, and of course, named a variable. One of them was subtract result, to subtract the first element called first element and the last element called last element. And I ended up getting 90 as my answer for that. Then I did, then I pushed pushed a new age called new age, and looped through the array called ages and calculated the average age, and I ended up getting 35.5555, and so forth. Number 2, what I did was loop an array that was called names, a variable called names, which include an array of 6 people: Sam, Tommy, Tim, Sally, Buck, and Bob. And what I did was I did a for loop and looped that array and called it names and calculated the average number of letters in each name. And I end up getting 3, 5, 3, 5, 4, and 3. And then the concatenated names came out as Sam, Tommy, Tim, Sally, Buck, and Bob. And then the average number of letters per name, I got 3.8333 something. What I did next was I looped, went to number 2B. I went to loop the array again in order to concatenate all names with spaces. And that's how I get those names. Sam space, Tommy space, Tim space, Sally space, Buck space, Bob. That's how I got all those. Then I went down to number 3, how to access the last element of the array. I got that down, but I commented it because for some reason it didn't work. But then number 4, I did how does the first element of an array, how do you access the first element array? And what I did was var first element equals array, open close bracket 0. But to access the last element of any array would be, let's say, array open brackets array dot length -1 close brackets. That's what I would have done. Number 5, I created an array called name lengths, and it's an empty array. But I took the names array, the array called names, Sam, Tommy, Tim, Sally, Buck, and Bob. And what I did was I looped those names, the names array, and pushed the new array called name lengths, which I just did. After that, it's a lot I did, but the other thing is number 6. Number 6, what I did was looped through the name lengths array and calculated the sum. So the sum from the array with the name lengths is actually 23. I came up with 23. Then on question 7, it says I wrote a function called concatenate word to concatenate a word in n times. So I did a function, did with concatenate word, and inside the parentheses, I put the word word and then comma n, and then I did a var concatenate it, and and concatenated and did two quotes. They're close together, but they're single quotes. Then I did a for loop in order to get the concatenate plus equal word plus an equal word, which is the first parameter of the function. And a return to concatenated, which was a variable I called. And then I did a var result of the concatenate word with the word hello and the number 3, which means it will repeat hello 3 times, but it has no spaces, so it will say hello, hello, hello. That's for number 3. And then I wrote a function to put together a full name. I decided to make my name Jason Naggles, and it worked. I made sure in the function I made 2 parameters, first name and last name, and then I made a new var, a variable called full name, and it will equal the first name plus quote, quote, plus last name. So the quotes, the double quotes is a space between my name, my first name, and my last name. So I made it nice like that. Then number 9, wrote a function to determine if sum is array is greater than 100. That one was a tough one. But I managed to get some of it to work, but it turned out both of these things became true for some odd reason. What I did was then number 10, I'll tell you what I did with number 10. Let's see. I'm just letting you know what I did, and writing down my comments and explaining what I'm trying to do. It's not easy for me to explain these things, because I'm pretty shy about it. But I have wrote down the code that I need to try to explain the answers and how I got through it. Like I wrote it, like for number 11, I wrote a function to compare 2 averages of 2 arrays of numbers. I did a couple for loops in a return and some other things. Number 12, I wrote a function of a Boolean and a conditional. And what I got from there was a true and false. So it says it's about, we'll buy a drink, and then the parameters inside the function is it hot outside, is hot outside and money in pocket. Then I returned is hot outside and money in pocket greater than $10.50. Then I did 2 results, made 2 results. One is will buy drink, true if it's greater than $10.50. But if it's false, it'll be, if it's false, $8.50 is not greater than $10.50. So that came out false. Then I created a function of conditionals returning strings, and I'm just saying I am starving. So what I did there was I did a function called Grubhub and did a parameter tasty food and distance, and another one called distance. Then I did an if statement saying tasty foods strictly equals pasta, or tasty food strictly equals pizza, or tasty food strictly equals taco. And then I did an and operator and said distance is less than 3. And then what I did, I said as a result, I said as some results, I said return Grubhub, or and else it would, if it wasn't that case, it would be just cook instead. Then I did a console log with Grubhub, and I put in the word pasta as one thing, and then 2 the other. So I end up getting the result order Grubhub. If you have any questions, please feel free to Slack me on Slack, message me on Slack. I appreciate it and thank you very much.